All right, friends, today we're going to talk about finding the area of a regular polygon, but this time we are using trig to help us. So let's take a look. Notice I'm setting this up the same way I did with my other area of regular polygons with central angle, number of sides, length of each side, and our perimeter and our hypothum. And that is because the area equals the hypothum times the perimeter divided by 2. So it's going to be the same formula. We just have to do a little bit of extra work. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look. We have this thing right here. Here's our triangle. So the first thing we need to do is realize how many sides we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. So the number of sides we have are 8. The length of each side we are given is 6.9 because this is a regular polygon. Regular means all the sides are the same. So the central angle is 360 divided by 8. So 360 divided by 8, which gives us 45. So that means this guy right in there is 45. So right up into here, that's going to be 45 degrees. Now, I need the hypothum, which cuts that right in half. So I've drawn this half of the triangle, see, like this, and this is 22.5. And what I need is this hypothum here. So I'm going to call this the A, and that's this hypothum that I'm finding. So hopefully those drawings make sense to you. Now, the other information that I have is this down here. Remember, this whole thing is 6.9. but I only need half of it. So if I cut that in half, I end up with 3.45. Okay, so now I have enough information. I have one angle. I know it's a right triangle. I can use some trig here. This is my hypotenuse, and I'm not involving my hypotenuse at all. So we're not going to use sine or cosine. Instead, what we can use is tangent. So if we say tangent to 2.5 equals, remember tangent is, so it's SOHCAHTOA. Right? Let's quick refresh. So, ka, and then that's supposed to be an A. Sorry about that. Toa. So our tangent is opposite over adjacent. So the opposite from 22.5 is 3.45 over adjacent, which is A. Now, if you have your variable on the denominator, you have to do a double step. What do I mean by that? We're going to multiply both sides by A. So now we have A tangent 22.5 equals 3.45. I want to get that A by itself, so I'm going to divide by tangent 22.5, divide by tangent 22.5, and then A equals, so we're going to say 3.45 divided by tangent 22.5. Trying to get that light out of there, sorry about that. 8.33. So A equals 8.33. So now we know our hypothum is 8.33 because that was what our A represented, right? So our perimeter, remember, is the number of sides times the length of each side. So 8 times 6.9. I hate using X for times, and I've done it like 3 times now. Very annoying. So if I do that, I get 55.2. So now that I've filled out my little chart here, and this is why I think this chart is really helpful, I have all the relevant information to find the area. So my area equals the hypothum, which we know is 8.33, times our perimeter, which we know is 55.2, divided by 2. So when we go to do, there we go, 8.33 times 55.2, hit equals, and then hit divide by 2, we end up with that number. Area equals 229.91 units squared. Since it's not specified, just use units squared. So there is our area. It's a little bit more difficult than just finding the area when you are given the hypothum. You got to use that trig, tap into that trig brain to help you solve these. So in this case, we are given the hypothum, but we are not given the sides of our polygon. Words are hard, our thing. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's first count our sides. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides. So the number of sides is 7, and that means 360 divided by 7 gives us 51.4. So this is going to be kind of a wonky one. 51.4 4 degrees is our central angle. So again, if I draw this triangle out, my apothem is this thing right here. And I know so like this. Okay, so up here, I know this is 51.4. But if I take 51.4 and I divide that by 2, I end up with 25.7. So we always take our central angle and we have to divide by 2 because we're using half the triangle. So I don't know what the bottom is, but I do know that this is 9. What I am trying to find is the side here. So I'm going to use X for side. I don't like to use S because it looks like a 5. It's very annoying. Okay, so now what we have, again, we're not involving the hypotenuse, so we're definitely going to want to use tangent here. We're going to say tangent 25.7 equals opposite, which is X, over adjacent, which is 9. The variable is in the numerator this time, so we don't have to do our double step. We just have to multiply both sides by 9. Multiply this by 9. So when we do that, we get tangent 25.7. So tangent 25.7 equals all that garbage, and then we take that and we multiply it by 9 times 9 gives us 4.33. So 4.33 equals X. Now remember, X is just this part right here. Choink, right here, right? We need to double that in order to get the full side. So if we take that, we multiply it by 2. And notice I didn't clear my my calculator. That's because I don't want to round unless I absolutely have to. So we do that, we get 8.66. So our side is 8.66. The length of each side is 8.66. We know there are 7 sides, so we do 7 times 8.66 equals, so I'm going to take this, I'm not even going to round, I'm going to hit times 7, gives me 60.64. 60.64. And then our apothem we know is 9. So now we are ready to use the area formula. So we've got area equals, let me move that out of the way. Area equals the apothem, which is 9, times the perimeter, which is 60.64. And then we are going to divide that by 2. So 60.64 times 9 gives us that garbage right there. Divide by 2. We get that garbage right there. The area is about 272.88 units squared. I didn't put any units on these, so my apologies. But that would be our area. Again, we have to use that double step to find it using some trig. So hopefully that helps. Let's see, we do have some extra examples if you want to stick around and try these guys. So our first example, or our third example, our next one is going to be this. So this figure, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5-sided figure. So we take for our central angle, we do 360 divided by 5. So 360 divided by 5 gives us 72. So our central angle is 72. So we have this guy right here, and this time we're given the apothem again. So this is 8.3. And this up here is 72, but when we go to break that in half, we get 36. I don't know why I had to do that on the calculator. Sometimes I just am not even thinking. So this is 8.3. So what we need here again is the side, because if we get that, then we can double it and find the length of one side, and then that'll help us find our perimeter. So our apothem we already know is 8.3. Bam. The length of each side, so we are going to do, again, we're not involving our hypotenuse, so we're going to use tangent. So tangent 36 equals opposite over adjacent, so x over 8.3. To get that x by itself, we're going to multiply by 8.3 on both sides, 8.3. So now what we do is we take tangent 36 equals all that garbage, and then we multiply it by 8.3. And we get 6.03. 6.03 equals x. So that's our x here. Remember, that's just this bit right here. We need to double it, multiply by 2. And so we get 12.06. So the whole side is 12.06. So the length of each side, 12.06 12.06. So that means our perimeter is 12.06. Just want to see how many times I can say that. Times 5 equals. So let's times that by 5. We get 60.3. So now we're able to find the area, and for whatever reason, I like doing that in a different color. So the area equals our apothem, which is 8.3, times it by the perimeter, which is 60.3, and then divide by 2. So if we have 60.3 times that by 8.3, hit equals, then divide by 2, we get roughly 250. So A equals 250.25 units squared. Units squared would be our area for that one. All right, one more. We've got a triangle here. So let's take a look at this one. Our central, the number of sides are 3. And so our central angle is 360 divided by 3, which gives us 120. So when we go to draw out our triangle like this, this is going to be 120. So when we draw out the half of the triangle, this guy is going to be 60. Now, previous lessons, we've talked about 30, 60, 90 triangles. In this case, I'm going to let you just do regular trig. You don't have to do the 30, 60, 90 triangles because that's going to come up in a different lesson. But what I do know is that, so this is the triangle I just drew, is this thing right here. Maybe well, no, we won't. So 12 root 3, I need to cut that in half. So divide that by 2, I get 6 root 3. So this guy down here is 6 root 3. And since we're not using our reference triangles yet, we're going to do 6 times root 3 will give me 10.39. So this guy right here is 10.39. And we'll talk about reference triangles in another lesson when it comes to these. So what I do need though is this apothem right here, because that's that middle thing. That'll give me my apothem. So what I have is, again, I'm not involving my hypotenuse, so I want to do tangent. So if I do tangent 60 equals opposite, which is 10.39, over adjacent, which is our apothem. Now, the variable is in the denominator, so we have to do a double step. Multiply by A, multiply by A. These cancel out. I've left A times tangent 60 equals 10.39. Divide this by tangent 60. Kablam, goes away. Divide by tangent 60. So we have 10.39. 10.39 divided by tangent, oh, that's hypotenuse. Tangent 60 equals 5.999. We're going to call that 6. I think it's safe to say. A equals 6. All right, so we now know our apothem is 6 because that's what our A represented here. The length of each side was, so this was half of a side, right? So if we do 12 times root 3, we get 20.8. We'll round. So 20.8. Length of each side is 20.8. So our perimeter is 20.8 times it by 3. So 20.8 times it by 3, we end up with 62.4. So now we're going to use my other color. We are ready to use with this information. This is why I tell you to organize your information like this. It makes it a lot easier. Our area equals 6 times 62.4 divided by 2. Divide this by 2, I get 1. Divide this by 2, I get 3. So 62.4 times 3 gives me area equals 187.2 units squared. Excellent. If you have any questions, let your teacher know. Otherwise, great work, and we will see you next time.